Hi traders, Lachlan here. I want to take you through the system that I use to exit NinjaTrader on a daily basis to ensure that I'm not only exiting NinjaTrader safely, I'm saving my workspace correctly, and if I've got any ghost orders or orders that are stuck between my machine and the exchange, then I've got a very good idea about finding out whether I've got an order stuck between my machine and the exchange. So first things first, guys, the first thing I do when I finish my trading journey, naturally you can see that we've been doing our ATM development in the background here. Once I have finished trading for the day, guys, the first thing I would do is I come across to the right-hand side. I right-click on my chart trader panel and I go to cancel all orders, okay, which means that if I have got an order sitting above the charts or below the charts, I've actually canceled those orders live in the market. What I then do is re-click on that one and I come to flatten everything. And I push the flatten everything button. Normally NinjaTrader will come back to me and say, yep, boom, there's an order filled. Now that doesn't mean I've had an order filled. It simply means that it is gone. It is basically pinged the exchange to make sure there's nothing stuck between myself and the exchange. What I then do is I come into here to my positions and I make sure that I've got no positions running in the market. I also come here and make sure I've got no live executions running in the market. Now, if the executions were live, they would be colored, all right? So let me show you that. I'm just going to sell the market. Sell the market, okay? Now, the moment I come into that, I can see my executions. I've got no colors in here, but my positions, I've got a trade here on the S&P 500, $25 worth of profit. Awesome. What I want to do is I want to make sure that there are my colors as well in my order panel. So as I exit, I want to make sure that my orders, my executions, my strategies, positions, I want to make sure there's absolutely nothing in these windows. And then I've got the absolute piece de resistance move to make sure that you've got nothing stuck between yourself and the exchange. So I'm going to close that order out. Guys, let me close that order out in order to come back to the control center. Make sure that we're inspecting these properly, right? So then we're going to go through it again to make sure you got it correct. So in terms of my orders, okay, there are my orders, but I've got no colors. Brilliant. Executions, I've got no colors. Okay, fantastic. Strategies, got no active strategies. Positions, I've got no positions running. Okay, so let's run through the drill again. Right click, first thing, cancel all orders. Okay, once that's gone through, we go right click and we flatten everything. Okay, so that's now been done. As the piece de resistance, if you don't mind, in my humble opinion, is you then come into your tools panel, tools, and push global simulation mode. Now, naturally, we're already in global simulation mode because we have been showing you how to develop ATMs in previous videos. If my charts were running live, this would not be ticked. The moment I tick global simulation mode, it sends a message to the exchange saying, does Lachie have any live trades that are currently pending on the exchange? If it does, it will come up with a warning window saying, hey, are you aware that you've got live orders stuck between your PC and the exchange? Whereas if you get really stuck, what you can actually then do is call the NinjaTrader emergency desk and say, hey, I've got an order stuck. I'm trying to shut down my NinjaTrader and the order is stuck. How did you find out that was stuck? Using the global simulation mode, literally come and tick this. Or, guys, you can actually use the phone-based NinjaTrader app to go and double check you don't have an order in between yourself and the exchange. Guys, what I then do, let me bring up that control center again. What I then do personally is I go to Workspace and I say, you know what? I want to save the current workspace I've got running, please. To save the workspace so I don't lose any of my work, all of the stuff that I've been doing. And then I simply exit the chart. It will say to me, Lachie, are you sure you want to do this? And say, yes, I do. And there'll be an interesting little journey here. Yes to all, absolutely brilliant. NinjaTrader disappears. And what I've actually done, I hope you don't mind the boat, what I've actually done is I've done my absolute best to make sure that I haven't got an order stuck between myself and the exchange. I also don't have a live order sitting above or below the chart waiting for one of those amazing reversal patterns. So without any further delay, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the next video and we're going to be talking about how to take a trade using the chart trader panel.